Hello and good morning. And it's Tuesday. I hope you had a nice long weekend. And Wolfie, this is Daily Trade Watch video, and it's just general share advice and not personal advice.
Dave, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
What do you say?
Why?
Go on. Why are you so excited?
Ange Postecoglou has joined Tottenham Hotspurs as the manager. Woohoo!
Who is?
Finally.
Who?
I knew you were going to have the answer like that. Who?
Who is it? Is he from Poland?
Oh, come on. What sort of fan are you, really? I mean, obviously, I think I need to send you back to England because he's just got no idea whatsoever. Ange Postecoglou is the manager, Australian manager. He won Asian Cup with us. He's been, playing his trade in Australia, then moved to Japan, then moved to Celtic, who just won, the treble, and now is given the opportunity at Tottenham Hotspurs to see what he can do with Spurs. And of course, Spurs is a very polarizing club in England, so we'll see. But I tell you what, he's made it. He's made the big league. So well done to him. And I tell you what, I'm a neutral fan, football fan, right? I don't really follow any teams, but I will follow Ange and see how he goes in Spurs. So I'll have to sell the wife pretty much and get some sort of subscription to see them some football games.
Oh yeah, they play pretty good football normally. Not a bad team. Not as good as obviously the team you should be supporting is Wolverhampton Wanderers, but
and the city is as good as London.
All right, smarty pants. Let's get going.
All right, let's talk.
By the way, I need more respect from you as well. By the way, from now.
Oh, is that? How is that? Why are we talking about?
I'm a grandfather.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sorry.
So
Pa.
Yeah, a bit more. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to be called grandpa though. No way.
What are you going to be called? Actually, this is going to be funny. You know what the grandkid's going to call you?
Cincinnati. No, I don't. I've got no idea. I've got no idea. Most probably, they make up names, don't they?
Grandpa. Oh, are you going to age so quickly?
What? Oh, say no more. All right.
Anyway, let's go. I mean, the news last night was pretty good. I mean, Nasdaq had a really good day. So we've got that. You remember we talked about on Friday, SP 500 going into a bull market, technically. That seems to be the confirmation, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, look at that XJO hasn't got on with it. Is that our banks? Our banks pulling it down, are they?
Banks and materials, right? The spaces, which unfortunately, interest rates going up, inflation up means a bit of a dampener on commodities prices, which is reflective. Well, we're going. This is not an ideal time for us, I have to say.
All right, Wolf, let's go. I'll tell you what is. Lithium is obviously still booming. WR1. What do you think of those lithium results? It's up 2%.
Good, but not great, which means they're probably just going to go sideways to maybe some FOMOs will find some other thing to play with, right? Which we're going to talk about in a sec. So not enough to get it back over to 250 again. So maybe that's the limit here with WO1, right? The results are good, nothing great. I prefer definitely still Patriot, PTM in this space. So I think from that point of view, and I think PTM is the one that's probably doing.
So PMT.
PMT. I apologize. I always get it wrong, don't I? I've got issues as well.
You've got a bit of PMT. You have.
Yeah. Possibly.
That's the problem.
Here we go.
All right,
so I prefer much better this than the other one. But anyway, not bad. I just don't think he's going to push it up further with those results.
All right. Now you lost my spot, making me jump to your PMT.
God, here we go. So should we go on to the next?
All right. Wolf, AZS.
Yeah. So that's the one that's beneficiary, right?
It's had a leap of faith. Possibly you're thinking a little bit overdone.
Well, way overdone, I think. I know that's certainly not worth 60-70% that it's jumped this morning. Are they exceptional? Couple of holes were. The rest were okay. This is the thing. You got to remember, look for consistency with some of these things. So Dave, maybe if you can bring up the results. I just want to show everyone what I mean by consistency, because it's actually important for us to understand some of these results. Otherwise, we might get ourselves into too much trouble. So, okay, obviously they go with the best one first, right? Top of the announcement. 105 meters, very nice stick intersection. That's a big plus. 1.26 lithium is quite nice. You know, it's not high grade because high grade is 1.5 and over. And then 256, not too bad, right? So you look at that, and then you look at within that 105, 42 meters at 2.5. That's obviously pretty good. And you can call it exceptional. Then you sort of start to go down and down and down, and it doesn't get as good as the other stuff. So now you're going down to that lower thickness, lower grades, and it just keeps going down, and it actually deeper in some of these holes. So way overdone for me, Dave. I think, you know, when you look at the consistent, if you look at the overall package they delivered today, it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still you can't say 100%.
Oh, good, but it's not. You know, it's still probably better than 95% of the intersections I've seen. All of these, but you know, it's just not. I don't think it's there for that $1 to be out there. It's that's to me, it's just way too much. There's just a lot of FOMO in there, and it's probably going to come down.
And it doesn't mean that it's a mineable project, right? As well.
Of course not. I mean, there's still a long way to go before that happens.
All right. Well, for TNT, we talked about a lot of stocks were oversold and takeover offers. But I mean, you know, if someone's been in this since 25 or it just shows, isn't it? Another reason why below the water level, you've got to get out of stories, because even if you've got the long-term approach, it doesn't always work.
Yep. Even though it looks great on paper, right? You go, oh my God, 130%, I could have made so much money. No, you wouldn't, because you would have to really bottom pick, right? Which is just not the way to do anything in this investment world. So those that hold on for some sort of reason, at least they're getting something back, right? They're probably still underwater, but getting something back. But I think the overall thing is, we talked about this, is that the Americans, the overseas players, and even Australians, you know, all this cashed up private equities, they just know what they're doing, and they're buying things really on the cheap when you look at it. I mean, this one, the other on previous, remember the one yesterday on Friday, 300% upside LME. This one's 150% upside. What are we doing as investors, Dave? What are we doing? We've got no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a trading market, isn't it? We don't really have that. We're very short focus here in Australia.
And don't understand really some of these tech stocks. You know, they're just, like you said, there's just no long-term focus. It's nah. I'd rather make 1,000% on a lithium story. I mean, that's the mentality of the markets.
Wolf, I have to say, uranium was up strongly over the weekend, about another 1.5%, which is good. BOE, what's the target? 340, 350?
I think we talked 350, wasn't it? That was our initial target. I'm still sticking with that. You know, these things can turn very quickly. So just be patient, be careful. But 350, I think, is reasonable. That would give us, I think we entered this just below 3, or just around 3. So if that gives us almost, 15% return if we get to 350. So that's looking pretty good, Dave. I mean, in 2 weeks, that's looking decent. I love the $55 move now to the uranium. That's pretty broken out for me. There's still momentum in there. I think this is 350, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
All right. It does look good. MAQ had actually a good looking chart, but trading holds.
Yep. Capital raise 58, I think something, 130 million odd. Is that going to put a brakes on this chart? Possibly.
Yeah, you know what? I think they should let it go a little bit. I mean, surely someone in such a big company had some idea of charting, saying, hold on a second, you've just broken up 52-week highs. Maybe we'll get a $70, we'll raise it 65.
Yeah, but look, it's up today, so that's a bonus. But can we just go back to uranium? I want to have a look at the other two stocks.
No, it's not up. It's still in a hold, Wolf.
Oh, is it? Okay, so we just got to wait till it comes up. Yeah. Go back to the uranium. I want to have a look, because we looked at BOE, but there was 2 or 3 others, remember, we talked about on Friday. So let's look at them to see how they're faring with this uranium price. PEN, I think, was 1, I remember. So that's starting to slowly go up. I still prefer the other chart, to be honest. BSN, remember the one on Friday? Somebody mentioned. I thought looks interesting. So let's have a look at this one.
Yeah, it's
Was it?
have a look on the daily.
Yeah, okay, that looks all right. Let's look at Paladin PDN.
Yeah, I actually saw them. They're up.
There you go. That could be interesting. So there's little.
But Wolf, surely there's a lot of issues with PDN.
Oh, there is, but is it going to stop the FOMOs piling into this and making a trade?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be buying it. That's what I'm saying.
No. Look, I'm going to leave the buying to you, but I just wanted to see how these stocks. So you can see when PDNs are moving, and I think there's got a lot of issues, like you said. The FOMO is starting to creep into this space, right? So possibly you could make some money out of some of these trades.
Yeah, I mean, it's too risky. If they could potentially, there's a risk they could have issues with their projects, right?
Yeah.
In Nambia. Now, Wolfie, just look at a few more dominoes.
Oh God, Dave, dominoes.
Look, still more and more issues.
Right, raising the white flag in Denmark, pulling out. They spent 2 million to buy it, and they're going to write it off for about 25 mil. Oh my God, what a disaster that is. I love the way they present. So the first thing they're doing, look at the cost we're going to save. Look at all these things we're going to do to save us money. And then right at the end, we completely screwed up on Denmark. We lost this much money. Oh my God, it's like, geez Louise. I tell you what, this is not good. This is not good, and it's looking even worse when they actually talked about the way they're going. So their growth, Dave. So they had like a target, medium term target of about 3 to 5% growth. They are growing at about 1%. I mean, that's just anemic. This is terrible stuff. So for me,
there's a lot more competition. I mean, there's pizza places opening up. Even I see them in Sydney, every corner.
That's probably one thing. But when it comes to the saturation point, and they've had that rollouts period where it was all successful. Everyone's high-fiving themselves. Everyone's going at the moon. And what you got to recognize is once it hits that saturation point, issues start to creep in. You got to get out. And it hasn't been good since then, Dave. It's been a roller coaster all the way down. And on the news today, even though they're saying going to save costs here and there, just the overall growth is terrible. So it doesn't matter how much
it's quite extraordinary. In it's sort of a year and a half, it's gone from 160 down to 42. I mean, down what, 70%? It's quite extraordinary. Yeah. A company that we are following, Wolf, that had again a good announcement today was LYL.
Yep.
And again, if you're in that, you'd still be holding it. Another, I think, from memory, a little contract win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and that's been going quite well. LYL. So the contract is, well, not everything's created equal, of course, in this space or any space, but these guys seem to be doing quite well. So if I was in this, nothing to suggest to get out.
CDT.
I don't even know what's going on here, Dave. I don't even know if I've got this on the chart.
Yeah, no, they just had an announcement out today, and it was. The chart's awful. I don't know why I'm talking about actually. The chart's. Oh yeah, no, because that's why lithium, but it just said pegmite lithium anomaly. I don't know what that means.
Okay, anomaly is just like
maybe someone found something on their shoe or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
okay.
what they were going with a detector, right? Going, oh, there's a lithium there. There's lithium there. They forgot that they've actually put a little bit of lithium in their shoe.
Yeah, no, I think sort of rock chip sampling. So listen, way too early. Don't even look at it. I just saw lithium.
Forget it that David mentioned this one. Yeah. Delete as quick as you can.
Yeah, go back in time. You do not know CDT. Forget it. Right now, AVD had a little earnings upgrade. It's still too small for us, Wolf, but I know you like little earnings upgrade.
I didn't see it, unfortunately, so I can't comment really.
But anyway, it's below trend, so we're not interested. It's too lightly traded. Isn't this a useful show talking about everything that doesn't mean any good, right? Right, IGO, new CEO.
Yes. Look, the CEO seems decent because they poached him from Rio Tinto out of Canada. I think he was looking after the aluminium side of things. So it looks like a decent appointment. Saying that, you got to obviously have to believe in lithium, because these guys are now really moving towards the lithium space significantly. I still really, to be honest, Dave, I still prefer the S32s in just the mining space for me, even though maybe it's not as trending as good, and I know lithium's having a good place. But you know what? The reason why I like S32, because it's got the nice metals, it's got the nickels, the coppers, right? The ones that have been around with us for 100 years, the ones where we can understand. We know this. All the fads are going to come and go. Nickels, coppers, they're never going to go. That's why I like it. But anyway, I digress slightly. IG obviously is tradable for sure. It's still a good story. But there'll come a time when we're going to get back into these S32s again.
All right, well, let me just talk about some more money stocks, ones that are, we think where we can make some money. So Adobe was really good. It's up, it hit our target price. We put it as a trade for those American traders out there. And you know what? It's still looking good. So you can lift your stop loss if you want, just under 450, and you might get another, I think it's up about 18% or 17%, which is pretty good. SKO, we talked about it the other day, a little bit of a breakup. I think one of the few charts, Wolf, that you went for a number of stocks that were possibly stories a little bit like TNT. There could be a takeover, but this one was actually the only one which was actually trending as well. So it's good to see it's up strongly. Now AVH, it's really funny. I saw your Wolfie's wrap covered in buy signals. So obviously not stupid there. And AVH had a really good buy signal, Wolfie, didn't it? And that announcement last week, hopefully it can go on with it. And IFM, again, another story, Wolf, another really nice sort of chart. I think it had a buy signal as well, didn't it? And again, looks like this could go on and maybe test that 170, 180.
Yeah, I think out of that whole weekly wrap, there was probably 2 or 3 good looking charts, like I said. But the one I chose, I think the pick of the week was IFM for me. And the reason why is the stronger thing for me was actually profitable company instead of AVH. AVH had a great chart, right? But IFM is actually profitable, and it's in that space where we've got Nasdaq at the moment in bull territory. So I thought probably the safer way to go.
And Wolf, for hot stock, we went for IPG. Now this was a really good hot stock when we put it on at 310. It's already up 25%, but I mean, it's still a buy, right? The price action is superb. So, let's see if we can do another 25% over the next 3 or 4 months. But the price action last week was extraordinary. And especially like one of the major shareholders was selling, which didn't buck the trend at all, which I thought was very interesting.
Yep.
And on that note, Wolfie, I don't think there's any sort of buys today, but there's plenty on Einstein's to trade.
I still need to talk about 2 things, Dave, which of course you forgot to talk about. So because you're a grandpa now, memory really just disappears.
Yeah, I accept that.
So the 2 things I want to talk about, there was a really interesting article in AFR today about the office space, right, and property. And really heed the warning, what they say here. Dexter's had sold one of its, I think, 8 properties, right, which is one of the top properties in the office space, at a 17% discount to the book value, which means obviously they've got to write that down, right? So that space is really difficult, and it's only the beginning of this, and possibly you're going to see a bit more pain in this space. I would not be touching any real estate, commercial real estate at the moment. I think this is a dangerous thing. There's another article just suggesting also on the side, it's got nothing to do with it, but it actually does have something to do with it. And there was an article about how workers like you and me, Dave, want to stay away from the office and just want to work from home. This is impacting the office space, right? Why possibly you want to stay away from this space. There's just resistance for people who want to get back to office. They want to work from home, understandably, right? I've been doing that for quite some time. And we've got interest rates rising. So I think we're going to see a problem probably building and maybe come to a head within the next 6 months, where if there's more sales, more discounts to book value, a lot of these companies will probably have to start downgrading their earnings. I mean, that's as simple as that.
Well, so what you saw, obviously things like COF.
Yep, absolutely. If they're not trending, you should not be in them. even if they're trending, you probably want to just get out and just sit on the sidelines for a little while, because, we've heard the warnings from the US, right? Where all the banks are maybe too leveraged to the real estate space in the US. But now we've got the warnings here in Australia as well. While, we're always in love with our property in Australia, sometimes you might get a little bit of a fright and a bit of a haircut. And this could be the time because everything's going against them at the moment, I have to say.
Yeah, it's a worry. And when you look at America, I think they're saying $13 trillion leverage to property. Some of these banks now. Yep. That is sort of GFC type numbers.
That is scary. When you say T in front of the alien, right? I get scared. So that's definitely one problem. So you just want to be really on the ball. Probably not investing too much money into that, even though they're paying good dividends. That could really disappear pretty quickly, right? If they start writing things down and your earnings going backwards. So you can't really rely on the previous past history of some of these things. You've got to be wary. I mean, we've seen a GFC, Dave. They were all great payers, and then they paid nothing for a period of time because they just got themselves so much trouble. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
And
now, the other last thing I want to talk about,
and the Babcock and Browns that collapsed in April.
Absolutely, and I remember the mergers. They raised so much cash that they looted everyone to smithereens, right? That it was different companies at the end of the day after 5 years. Anyway, last thing I don't want to mention is US tonight, and the calendar tells me that we've got very, very important core inflation numbers in the US at 10:30 p.m. tonight. So, it could really affect the markets overnight. So don't be gung-ho today. Just be wary where we might be tomorrow.
Right. Okay. Well, one interesting thing I think at the moment is also gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So just from a little charting point of view.
Yep.
I think gold is it's had this little bit of a dip, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
And yeah, I'm just going to get the gold chart up, and we can have a look at it a little bit. But I think this is an opportunity, Wolfie.
I tend to agree. I mean, remember that I suppose the strongest correlation for me is right. The strongest thing to look at is how is the US dollar going, because that's usually moves on that premise, gold price. And I think if I read the longer term commentary here, is they're expecting that the US dollar is probably going to ease, right? Which means gold should have a better time of it. So I think that's where I agree with you. I think gold maybe is an opportunity here. However, when is it going to happen? I've got no idea. And that's the frustrating thing. And maybe, we're going to see EVN go under the trend lines. And unfortunately, we don't have to pull the trigger.
I'll tell you what I like about it. Knocked on the door 3 times.
Yep.
Fourth one, it normally goes through, right? Stocks don't, they need to go down to go up to get breakthrough. I would be holding on too. I wouldn't be selling my gold right now.
Right. Well, look, we've still got a little bit of EVN in our fund, so it survived another week. We'll see, but it's looking dicey.
So let's have a look at EVN now. I think it's all right.
Yeah, you don't want to see it go further down, though.
No, it's just moving with the gold price.
Yeah. So you want to see it hold that reddish green line there, right? Otherwise, you're thinking, where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? But anyway, it's still decent enough to just have a little bit more faith in it.
All right. On that note, thanks, Wolfie. Always brilliant.
Don't forget tonight, though, isn't it? We've got our Ask the Analyst. Please join us. It's always fun.
All right. Thanks, Wolfie. See you, mate.
Just bye.
Bye.